Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Power of Wisdom Lufenia. This is Queen's event against the Strong Beasts, and I'm running a team here of Seifer, 9, and Strago. So there's a lot that goes on at the start of the fight, so I'll talk more about the team after that, but the idea is that 9 is here to bring his shields. So I'm trying to use the White Knight here to make sure his primal roar goes as far as possible with those shields, because, yeah, he doesn't have a great amount of max brave here, and it's based on the damage he deals. I found in comps I've run with 9 before, his shields aren't quite sufficient without some help to deal with the recasts, which is a AoE magic attack. So what I've used here is Shell, which is Hope's regular call. It has a nice magic damage resistance effect. And the nice thing about these recasts is you may not be able to mitigate the HP damage, and you can't use any debuffs because they'll cleanse right before. But the damage isn't based on Brave Gain, which is what you often find with these things. The damage is mostly that magic damage. They get a very small Brave Gain beforehand. So with those shields and with Hope's Call up, you can really tank them pretty fine. Now, I made a point of using Hope's regular call there, because I wanted to use Purification right here. First of all, for the heal, because it's nice to be back at full health, even if they're not going to get another turn, which, spoiler warning, they really aren't. But also because it means that they have D-Shell on them, which is going to make Strago's damage go a lot further. You may not have seen, but before their recast went off, Strago was doing about 4,000 with each Bravery hit, which is, it was still fine. He was doing 200k to each enemy with his Quasar. It's ludicrous when you've got 3 enemies and all that true AoE damage. It's wild if he didn't have his caps how much damage he'd be able to hit here. But yeah, as this is a blue Strago, getting that extra bravery damage is just, it's so nice. In fact, with all the defense down from Seifer and Jack Call and all the various calls, may have even been a bit more than I need. I was probably massively overcapping here. But, overcapping on HP damage, that is. But as I say, these guys aren't getting another turn. The Strago's able to absolutely pop those shields they put up. It's really not much in the face of his absolutely back-breaking HP damage. He's honestly one of my favorite blues so far. Really, really worth it. He gets so much mileage out of it. Anyway, 9's not doing much in the field anymore, so I've swapped him out for Cloud of Darkness Friend. I was a little worried that right after this move, she'd use her follow-up and get a break immediately, because I'm still never sure on the timing of that, but fortunately, that's not what happens. She doesn't get a follow-up immediately after she does her burst attack, which actually puts me in a really good spot to not get too many unexpected breaks. Now, Seifer is an absolute monster in this fight, I think. He has good AoE damage, especially with all that splash. He has those delays that give you a lot of space, because these guys are fast. And even if you can deal with what they're putting out defensively, if you're not getting turns in, they get recast after recast off. And they do a lot of HP attacks besides. But they'll just cleanse on their recasts, which makes it really hard to keep up defensive pressure if you're letting them get too many turns. But Seifer keeps them at bay, and even if they do get a turn, pretty much everything they do uses bravery damage, which his EX debuff can just absolutely bypass anything apart from their recast, which is absolutely fantastic. Strago also really helps with the no-boss turn here. Grand Delta is an absolutely fantastic move, double re-break. Absolutely love it. Huge, huge AoE damage. But it also helps to prevent Cloud of Darkness from getting too many additional... what are they called? Too many of her consecutive turns, because you don't want too many of those, or you're going to lose a lot of her burst damage, and it really adds up in this fight. Seifer's also a blue, as you can see by the outrageous HP damage he's putting out. Seifer may have a lot of utility in his kit, but he also does bucket loads of damage. So from this point in the fight on, it's really a matter of making sure I don't let them get another turn. Just using a little wide-angle particle beam here. I was thinking about using the LD for the rebreak, but I thought I'd probably get more damage out of it if I used her regular skill too, and let her get more of her effects off. Unfortunately, she makes a break immediately there, gets a consecutive turn, and probably would have been better placed using the LD, but hey-ho. Now, I did pull 9 out earlier, but he's not bad for damage in this fight, His skill 2 is usually doing about 115k anyway, so yeah, he's still contributing perfectly well to the damage, and when he gets his Laser Lance, his EX, that does a lot of damage as well. Man, that Grand Delta just... I absolutely love it as a move. Strago is such a fantastic character. I cannot wait until his C90. I think I'll be getting plenty of use out of him yet. The interesting thing about this team is there really aren't many auras at play. It's mostly debuffs. I know 9 has some, but at this point I'm pretty sure Rebellious Fangs has long since left play. So people aren't totally reliably capping on their bravery damage, but it doesn't really matter anymore. I tried a couple of other teams with this as well. I've done a few runs now. There's a couple of ways you can deal with the recast. Bash is a really popular one, which is of course why he's banned for the TCC, because you just don't really need to worry about anything they're doing. You can devote the rest of your team to delaying them and dealing damage, really. Golbez is a lot of fun as well. He's a character who I've been getting so much use out of. The only problem with Golbez is he's very, very slow, so you may want a quicker character or someone with speed down, like maybe Ash or something, to make sure that he's actually getting turns, and that, you know, even if he can nullify their recast with his amazing burst effect, he's actually, yeah, they're not just getting their recast immediately after. Alright, we're pretty much at the end here, and you know, even though he's doing 7,000s, he's still pretty much capping on the HP. Absolutely fantastic stuff to see. Anyway, this is pretty much it for this fight. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time on the Tidus raid against the Tunneler. Thank you very much, and goodbye.